This is day 2 from the floor of the exhibit hall at Trees and Utilities. Really great to have this guest with us today, Dan Lambe of Arbor Day Foundation and one of the co-hosts of Trees and Utilities. Welcome, Dan.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
thanks for being here.
So, Dan, everybody knows who you are, but tell us anyways. Introduce yourself and tell us about Arbor Day Foundation.
It's Dan Lambe, Chief Executive of the Arbor Day Foundation. I've been with the foundation for 19 years, and the Trees and Utilities Conference is one of my favorite weeks of the year because it's this unique opportunity to see how professionals in the utility arboriculture community connect, learn, share with each other, and just continue to grow this important community that has a huge impact on trees all across the country and really around the globe.
Great to meet you, Dan. I've heard lots about you. Maybe tell us a little bit about, the organization, what you guys are really primarily focused on.
You bet. So the Arbor Day Foundation is a nonprofit organization, non-government organization. We work in about 50 countries around the world.
Wow.
We are a membership-based organization. So we have nearly 1 million members, primarily in the United States. And those are tree planters. They are tree lovers. We were founded in 1972, so we're just over 50 years old, and continuing to grow. And we've got a really simple mission at the Arbor Day Foundation, and that is that we inspire people to plant, nurture, and celebrate trees. And that's what we do. And we do it all kinds of different ways, whether that's helping a homeowner plant a red maple tree in their front yard, or helping electric utilities communicate the sophistication around the importance of utility pruning and tree pruning in cities and towns, or whether it's working with a Fortune 100 company to help them meet their sustainability goals through forestry carbon offsets or through tree equity plantings in urban neighborhoods. We inspire people to plant, nurture, and celebrate trees, and that's what we do.
That's incredible.
A million members since
About a million
72.
members. Yeah.
That's just amazing.
Well, why aren't you a member? Come on, Phil.
I get trees in the mail.
I'll make sure you get something in the mail.
Yeah, we'll make sure he's a member
Okay,
after this. Tell us a little bit about, how long you've been sort of the leader of the organization. How did you even get there? Like, what's kind of been your career path?
Sure. So I've been with the Arbor Day Foundation for 19 years. I was named president and CEO 2 years ago. And I grew up in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is where the Arbor Day Foundation is based. And we've got a wonderful farm, forestry demonstration, orchards, hotel, and conference center in Nebraska City, Nebraska, about 300 acres, and where I grew up as a child going to pick apples and drink apple cider with my family. But I didn't grow up thinking about going into the tree business.
Right.
I grew up, I've been in nonprofit work my entire life, but about 19 years ago, a friend called. I was living in Austin, Texas, and a friend called and said, "Hey, there's a job at the Arbor Day Foundation you'd be perfect for." I said, okay, well, I'm not looking to move back to Lincoln, Nebraska, but I took a look at the foundation, just saw the positive work they do, the solution-oriented approach that the foundation takes to really complicated issues. And it was a chance for my wife and I to go back home and be near family. And it has just been one of the most wonderful experiences ever, getting to do, again, really positive work with great partners, great people all around the world. So I feel really fortunate. And it's been 19 great years at the Arbor Day Foundation, and the future is really bright for tree planting and for the foundation.
Wow.
So we see a lot of Maui, the hurricanes coming through Florida. What do you do after storm?
You bet. So the Arbor Day Foundation does a tremendous amount of work planting trees. We plant millions and millions of trees every single year with partners, whether that's U.S. Forest Service, state forestry agencies, or cities or other local nonprofits all around the globe. But in the wake of hurricanes that sweep through Florida or Georgia, or forest fires in Canada, or this amazing fire that just burned through Maui, we are already talking with partners on the ground as they are assessing, first of all, safety, shelter for those who live there. But when it's time to replant, we will mobilize our members, we will mobilize donors to help support the replanting efforts and the restoration efforts in those communities. And we do it with great partners who know what to plant, where to plant, and how to plant on the ground. We don't parachute in and say, here's what you should do. We work with local professionals, ISA professionals, utility arborist professionals, and partners who know to making sure they're planting the right trees in the right place.
Wow.
Right tree, right place. You always hear about. I think that was originated, or
Yeah.
what's the ownership?
I don't
of
know
that?
what the ownership of Right Tree, Right Place is, but it's something we believe in at the Arbor Day Foundation. Again, whether it's people in Detroit might love palm trees, but they shouldn't be planting palm trees. So it's about picking the right species, the right location, the right circumstances. Maybe you're looking for shade for your home, making sure you're avoiding the utility conflicts. All of those important factors tie into that right tree, right place message. And the Arbor Day Foundation helps to deliver that. And that's one of the things we do at the foundation. We work with great professionals like Utility Arborist Association, International Society of Arboriculture, folks who know the technical, scientific approach to tree planting. The Arbor Day Foundation speaks to the mainstream. We help to simplify the complicated to help the lay person understand how they can be best at supporting positive tree planting.
Big membership base, big mandate. I love how you've simplified it. I'm scared to even share this, but I love trees. In my home's I plant, I play with it. I screw a lot of things up, and then I figure out why it's not working.
I have to. Don't worry.
I'm
Don't worry.
Now,
And he
now
has
I
a
know.
fireplace too.
Now I know. I'm going to call you. But my question for you would be some of the challenges. What are some of the things that are keeping you up at night? Some of the things that are complex and you're trying to solve for?
Well, Tej, I'll tell you what. I have killed plenty of trees myself.
It makes me
I
feel
have
better.
to cut them down in the dark of the night, or my neighbors will report me to everybody. But it's okay. We all make mistakes. So thanks for being vulnerable.
Definitely.
So there are a lot of positive things going on. There's a momentum today around tree planting, no doubt about it. In many ways, trees are the one thing in this divisive and contentious time we live in that everybody can agree on.
Wow.
There's a unifying
Yeah, definitely.
influence of
Yeah.
trees, and it's exciting, and we like to remind people of that. But we also live in this day and age where we are seeing records set day after day after day with extreme heat. We see the fires that Phil talked about. We see the increasing frequency and severity of natural disasters. We see inequities in neighborhoods across the country and around the world. And all of these things just build on this urgency around tree planting today. And one of the things I always say is if ever there was a time to be planting trees, now is that time. It is our moment. And the Arbor Day Foundation is ready to help solve those challenges. Trees are not a silver bullet. They're not going to be the answer to everything, but they can be a part of the solution. And the other thing we recognize at the foundation is that we can't do it alone. We need to work with partners on the ground. We need to work with professional arborists to make sure that those trees aren't just planted, but that those trees survive and thrive and bring the benefits that we need for years and years to come.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
you mentioned low canopy neighborhoods, or do you have programs that help areas develop those?
We do. We work with both our members. We have a lot of corporate partners, private foundations that help to support our efforts to bring trees to neighborhoods that haven't been able to enjoy the benefits of those trees, neighborhoods that have been ignored, underserved, or quite frankly, just disengaged from the opportunities around tree planting. But it doesn't happen overnight. This is one of those instances where the Arbor Day Foundation, or really anybody, you can't just go into a neighborhood and say, hey, you're so lucky we're here to plant trees. You've got to earn the respect, the trust, understand what kinds of trees, what kinds of benefits they're looking for. We work with communities in Miami. They want fruit trees. We're working with communities in Phoenix. They want shade trees. So we want to make sure we're earning the right to make sure that as we help plant trees in those underserved neighborhoods, grow that tree canopy, that we're doing it the right way, and with local partners. Again, not just the Arbor Day Foundation parachuting in, but local partners who have earned that trust and credibility to say, hey, we're not only going to help plant these trees, we're going to help you take care of these trees.
Can you maybe talk a little bit about like the collateral that you guys develop and maybe, what forms of engagement have you created that allow communities to come through the Arbor Day Foundation and educate themselves or have continuing education on trees and all the complexity around it?
That's a great question. And again, that's one of the roles that we see for ourselves at the Arbor Day Foundation. We are not the experts. Some people think we're experts in trees, but we're not. That's why we hang out with people like utility arborists and International Society of Arboriculture, because they really are the experts in trees. But people will turn to the Arbor Day Foundation in multiple ways. They'll come through our website because they just want to know, should I be planting a ginkgo or should I be planting an oak? And then we can stair step them up to better understanding.
Yep.
Same thing happens with utilities and cities. So we have programs like Tree Line USA, which is a recognition program for electric utilities who want to be following best practices in tree care, tree management, customer engagement, worker training, and the recognition for Tree Line USA, they're core standards, base level standards. They're not the end all be all of what a utility could be doing, but we stair step them in. We meet them where they are and get them started on that path. We do the same thing with cities through our Tree City USA program. 4 core standards of tree care, tree management. And then we expect cities and utilities who get those recognitions to scaffold up and grow and become better. But the Arbor Day Foundation helps to open the door. We always say we like to lower the bar of entry for anybody to be a part of the tree planting community and tree care community, and then impress us with what they can do from there.
Yeah, I like that. Wow.
That idea of stair-stepping them in, that's great. How many Tree Line are there now?
We have 141 Tree Line USA utilities today, 4 brand new ones this year, and it just continues to be an important program. And they're just core standards. They're base level standards for any utility who wants to be good in tree care, tree management. But the impact of that program has been immense in that it has helped to foster the idea of a Trees and Utilities Conference. It really, in many ways, has helped to grow the Utility Arborist Association in a lot of ways. And it's just created this community of sharing, this community of learning, and it has helped to transform and improve tree care and tree canopy all across the country.
How big is the organization?
The Arbor Day Foundation, we've got, so our headquarters are in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yep.
We've got about 150 people there in Nebraska City at
people.
Arbor Day Farm. Anyone should go visit Arbor Day Farm in Nebraska City.
Wow.
We've got about 200 to 300 people there, depending on the time of year.
Wow.
And then we got about 25 people remote across the country. We also have a tree distribution center in McMinnville, Tennessee. So it's a big organization. There's a lot of work going on. Again, we're working in more than 50 countries around the world, but couldn't be more happy to be here in Pittsburgh this week with our best friends in the utility arboriculture community.
I love that. That's amazing.
I know what the motivation of UAA was. What drove you to want to partner with UAA to do this?
So when we started the Tree Line USA program, and this was before my time at the Arbor Day Foundation, but the vision was to inspire improved management of tree care around utility lines. It is about trees and utilities, not trees or utilities. We have to have both. And so, again, people much smarter than me had the vision to say, hey, we should be working with the utility community. And through ISA, UAA emerged and became just a great partner. And I think what the Arbor Day Foundation has always tried to convey to the utility arborist community is that we get you. We do. We get you. We know there's got to be you have to have safe, reliable energy, and you have to have trees. So how do we do it together? And the Arbor Day Foundation has been respectful of the need to prune and remove trees at times, but also to restore those trees, to replace those trees in the right way.
Very good.
Dan,
It has been
incredible.
a tremendous success.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It has.
I think our first one we prayed for 300.
Well, Phil, you deserve a lot of credit for bringing the Trees and Utilities Conference back and making it what it is today, and helping to foster that relationship between the Arbor Day Foundation and the utility arborist community. So thank you.
And what did you say attendance was?
We have more than 1,000 people registered for the conference this year, which is by far a new record.
Yeah, by far.
Congratulations, Dan.
Yeah.
You're doing great things. Absolute pleasure to meet you. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, it's my pleasure, and to your audience, just thanks for what they're doing. I get to do really fun stuff. I get to talk about trees, travel the world, and see trees being planted. It's pretty cool stuff. But the folks who are doing the work on the front lines every single day, I just couldn't have more respect for, and we're really grateful.
Yeah, what
Thank
a
you.
message.
Thank you
Very
so much.
good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey,
Thanks, Dan.
Dan.
Fantastic.
Good to meet
Good to
you.
meet you too.
And great to be with
Dan,
you.
good to see you.
That's it for this episode of Trees and Lines, brought to you by Iapetus Holdings. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify. If you have any questions or comments on any of our episodes or ideas for topics or guests, we'd love to hear from you. Please contact us at treesandlines@iapetusllc.com. We'll chat with you soon.